It is the second game of the Mike McCoy head coaching era in Tennessee, and it's going to be a tough one. You're going up against the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts. And yeah, I still can't believe it. We are 8 weeks into the season now, and the Colts are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Brett Alper. 6-1 against 1-6. You see that number right there, Colts minus 14. It's going to be a tough one. They're expecting this to be a blowout. But this is not the first time that the Titans have faced the Indianapolis Colts this season. They saw them back in Week 3. Now, the Colts did take that one 40-21, which we'll get to in a second. But always, with division matchups, especially in the AFC South, that anything can happen. And it could be, after getting the film, it could be a little bit closer than the last one. Before we get into the full preview of today's show, we are very, very close to our likes goal of October. 1,500. It is the 23rd. We have 8 days left in October, and I know that we can get there, ladies and gentlemen. So if you love the Titans, if you want Titans videos every single day, and you want to show the world that people are still rooting for this team, even though they're 1-6, hit that thumbs up icon. So let's talk about the Week 3 matchup. The Colts absolutely dominated from start to finish. I've talked about sometimes on this channel where in the first half you kind of competed. You competed in the first half against the New England Patriots last week. You competed against the Los Angeles Rams in Week 2. You competed against the Denver Broncos in Week 1. Well, this game from start to finish, it was a complete utter disaster, except Cam Ward was actually pretty solid in this one. I mean, Daniel Jones, 18 for 25. He really didn't do much. 228 yards, 1 touchdown. You know that the Titans defense can actually lock down a little bit, but it was Jonathan Taylor absolutely going off. 17 carries, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Michael Pittman just being his usual self at 6 receptions, 73 yards and 1 touchdown. At that moment, I kind of felt like that the Colts were a little bit fraudulent. We know that last year they weren't the best team, but going in Week 3, you're 3-0. It's like, oh, they're feeling a little bit fraudulent. They've played a little bit easy games, but since then they're now 6-1, and they have not slowed down in the slightest. And when I mean they do not slow down, they currently lead the AFC South, and by a wide margin. They're 6-1. They're 4-0 at home, 2-1 on the road, and they honestly should be 7-0. But if it wasn't for Adonai Mitchell dropping the ball before going into the end zone, they would have won that game. You also haven't lost a game in the division, and they're also number 1 in the AFC. If the playoffs started today, they would get the bye week. They are considered the best team in football. Crazy to sound, but the stats, they don't lie. They are top 10 in every statistical category and top 5 in most categories. Yards per game, 380. They're second. Passing yards per game, they're 5th, 250. Rushing yards, Jonathan Taylor looks like an MVP candidate. He has 10 touchdowns on the season, and their high-powered offense, the number 1 in the NFL, averaging 33.1 points per game. They're also really good on third down. And it's solely because of this guy, Daniel Jones. We know Daniel Jones was very funny to watch his whole entire tenure with the New York Giants, but he has had a career resurgence, and he has looked like an amazing quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in football. Going from, hey, you shouldn't even be on a roster. You were on the Minnesota Vikings practice squad after getting cut by the Giants last year, and then the Colts signed him to a 1-year deal, and he is earning that contract. 71 completion percentage, almost 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he's not turning the ball over whatsoever. He's also a mobile quarterback. We know that he can run the ball. 106 QB rating. He is playing like an MVP candidate, and it's going to be tough for the Titans to stop him, especially when how good their team is. But going back to the Titans, speaking of quarterbacks, Cam Ward is progressing. He's been looking better and better and better as the season goes on. Maybe that's because he's just been playing NFL. I mean, he's a rookie. He's had his struggles, but in his last game, he had his best game as a Tennessee Titan. He had 73.5 completion percentage, only 1 touchdown. I wouldn't say he threw for 10 touchdowns in one game. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, a 92 QB rating, 255 yards. He looked very, very solid last Sunday against the Pats. And now going back, he gets to watch film. He gets to see what he did against the Indianapolis Colts and try to fix what he did wrong. Here's what he had to say about playing the Colts again. He said, I think it just helps me a lot, especially in regards to those blitz packages that I can get used to. They did it to the Chargers last week. They did it to the Rams and Matthew Stafford a couple times. So just got to know where the protection is sliding every play. Where the protection is sliding every play. Make the pass play. Then you just got to make the right read and go from there. And go into his stats against the Indianapolis Colts. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 219 yards, 60% completion percentage, and a 74.3 QB rating. Not as good as his stats against the Patriots, but going up against a team that you faced before, you get to watch film. You get to see those coverages that they played in that first game, and that's why the second game that you play in a division matchup is always, always, always closer, because you get to fix those mistakes that you made in the first one. And now, the only mistake that you fixed completely is you have a new coach. Instead of Brian Callahan, who honestly, I didn't think he knew what he was doing with this offense. Now you're going with Mike McCoy, and Bo Hardegree is the play caller. You have two different aspects of the game, of the offense, that were different from last time in week 3 going into today. So I expect this game to be a little bit closer, and possibly, maybe you can shock the world a little bit. But we'll see. I mean, this is going to be a very, very, very tough matchup. The Colts are one of the best teams of football, and the Titans are one of the worst. But I'll ask you guys, who do you got? Who do you have? Do you have the Tennessee Titans? If you do, type your 10s down in the chat. If you got the Indianapolis Colts, type your INDs down below. Coming up, Titans are dealing with a lot of injuries, and that might hinder them a lot. But we also got our keys to victory on how the Titans are going to win this matchup. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can now follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one singular click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. You can hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. You know, football season, that's not the only thing you can make a lineup on Prize Picks. Basketball season has started. We about to have the postseason baseball, motorsports, esports, everything you could possibly think of. And Prize Picks, they give you a max discount all the time. You can download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Okay, to the bad news. And it involves the injuries. This comes from Easton Freeze. It was also confirmed by Adam Schefter, confirmed by Ian Rappaport, all the guys. L'Jarius Sneed is heading to the IR with a quad injury. And if you guys remember from last season, he suffered a quad injury in week 6 that sidelined him for the rest of the year. This season, he suffered a quad injury in week 7, and that will sideline him for the next 4 games. He's already had a tough season. He only has 3 PBUs on the year. He has 18 tackles. He's been a rough going for this Tennessee secondary. But that's not the only injury. If you look at the Titans injury report from Wednesday, you can see on there that Sebastian Joseph Day, limited. Arden Key didn't practice. And then Bryce Oliver didn't practice. Tony Pollard, he got a rest. Calvin Ridley still dealing with that hamstring injury. And the one guy that I see on there that is bigger than all of these names over anybody is Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons suffered a hamstring injury against the Patriots, and he did not practice. That's rough. Your 2 supposedly best players on your defense. Thankfully, T'Vondre Sweat came back off of IR last week, but you gain 1 defensive tackle, you lose another one. Jeffrey Simmons is playing like an all-pro right now. And no Simmons and no Sneed is very rough, and it's going to be very hard to help this defense without your best player on the field. And that goes into my first key to victory, because he's going to be a big reason how to stop Jonathan Taylor. Jeffrey Simmons is the biggest way to stop Jonathan Taylor on the ground. You have to have that going. And he has had an amazing season. Jonathan Taylor has looked like an MVP candidate. He has 697 yards, 5.3 average, 10 touchdowns, and 23 receptions. Avery, you don't have to go to that graphic. It's totally okay. But Jonathan Taylor has been an amazing player. And it's just, it's only like, can you stop him or can you contain him? He's been unstoppable The game last week against the Chargers, he ran for like a 30-yard touchdown run, broke 3 tackles, and it's just like, oh my God. And then he scored another one. And then he scored another touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns in that game against the Chargers. He is one of the main reasons why the Colts are so good, settling, making that play action possible. So my key is you got to let them beat you with Daniel Jones. Have them air the ball out with Mo Alley Cox. Have them air the ball out with Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce. It's going to take stopping Jonathan Taylor. If they can beat you with Daniel Jones, they beat you with Daniel Jones. But you have to stop their MVP player right now, and that's Jonathan Taylor. Now, for the Titans, I'd like to see them get their running back involved. I'd like to see a lot more of Tyjae Spears because in reality, he hasn't not been playing whatsoever at all. Here are the last 2 games. He's played in 3 of them, and I'm not gonna consider that first game back as really he's just trying to get into it. But in that last 2 games, 10 carries, 53 yards, 5.3 yards per carry, and 7 receptions. He is a explosive threat who also can run the ball. He can get through those holes between the tackles. And the Titans just don't seem to be using him a lot. They seem to be trying with Tony Pollard, but Tony Pollard has been worse than Tyjae Spears has been. I know he's getting more action, getting more snaps, but if you look at his yards, he doesn't get as many yards per carry. He does not get as many receptions when you look at him, the snap comparison to the 2. I'd like to see Tyjae Spears get involved. I know he's your 1A, 1B running back, but you have to get him involved. The third key to victory, protect Cam Ward. Please, please, please. The one game that you won this season, the one game, he did not get sacked. And then the very next week against the Las Vegas Raiders, he got sacked 5 times, and what happened? He lost. So I went and looked at the statistics. I looked at how good he is when he's kept clean and how bad he is under pressure. And you can see right here. When he's kept clean, 66% completion percentage, over 1,000 yards. He has not thrown 23 interceptions. He's thrown 2 interceptions, but 3 touchdowns and a QB rating of 84. And then you go to under pressure, 36% completion percentage. That's how much it drops in half. And 277 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, and his QB rating gets cut in half also at a 36 QB rating. His numbers are bad under pressure. His numbers are really good kept clean. And when you get under pressure, those turnovers happen. Go to last week. K'Lavon Chaisson on the New England Patriots blitzes him. He doesn't even sack him. He just gets the pressure. Cam Ward loses the ball. It's a touchdown. The turnovers happen under pressure, and the turnovers lose football games. You keep Cam Ward clean, those turnovers don't happen, and success happens. So you have to keep him clean. You have to keep the pocket clean. You have to let him have some time to throw the football. And the last one, it's basically David versus Goliath. You're 1-6. The Colts are 6-1. Everybody's going to say that the Colts are going to absolutely rout you in this one. Probably another 40-20 game. So go out there and just try to upset them. It's a division matchup. You've played them before. You have the film. You've seen what you did wrong in every single set of the way. You saw what Brian Callahan did wrong. This is the Mike McCoy time as head coach. Do everything that you didn't do in week 3, and all the mistakes that you did in week 3, kind of minimize them and go into this game and just try to go out there and play your best. Play free because you have really nothing to lose for at this point. Predict your score for the Titans versus the Colts down in the comments section. Are the Colts going to go on a winning streak? They're going to keep this going? Or are the Titans going to shock the world and pull out the upset? Let me know down in the comments section. For me, I just can't go with it. I can't see it happening. The Colts are way too good. I've been second guessing the Colts every single week of the NFL season, and I keep getting proven wrong. He looks good. And then I'm like, nope, this week they're losing. Doesn't happen. So finally, I'm jumping on. I'm jumping on the ship. The Colts are really good. They're going to win this game 34-17. We got a video coming out recapping the game on Sunday. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button right now. And as always, tighten up.